This show is brought to you by Manscaped. Use the code AFTV for 20% off your order and free shipping at manscaped.com. AFTV Turkish, first of all, before I even ask you about the game, you would have heard Julian just there with some quite controversial views on the Kroenkes. A lot different to your views on the Kroenkes.
Yeah.
What did you make about what he was saying? Because I haven't really heard someone put it across like that before. He was saying that he appreciates the fact that they're here to try and make money.
Listen, there's one thing I agree with is that, just spouting that spending money, does make you seem like you don't know the full extent of it. But I think what Julian failed to recognise is that the whole direction of the club has gone in a bad way. Even as a businessman, he's taken a profit-making top 5 European brand, football name, club, and now we're barely top 20, let's say. In terms of quality, definitely not top 20. We're the 8th most valuable through commercial deals that had nothing to do with him. We're the 8th most valuable because of the TV rights that came to the Premier League, because it improved deals with Adidas and whatnot. It had very little to do with Stan Kroenke and what he's done for the club. He's allowed us to spend what we make, hence the Ozil contract, hence the Aubameyang contract, hence the Willian nonsense. But in essence, any way you look at Arsenal, whether it's a brand, a football club or anything, it's gone downhill. The money's increased in a way, but again, I'm going to reiterate, that's not down to Kroenke, that's down to commercial deals and the Premier League being the most watched in the world.
Daniel Ek, would you take him?
Listen, right now, I'm going to say yes, because at the end of the day, I know that Stan Kroenke and KSC are not the ones. And what Daniel Ek says so far is great news. I'd like to see a few pictures of him at Highbury or the Emirates, because we've heard he's gone many games. That would bring a bit more authenticity to it, because like Julian said, it's very good PR at the moment. I want to hear from Henry, Bergkamp, Vieira. I want to hear from them too. I want to understand. And because I'm trusting them more than I'm trusting Ek, So I'm saying yes, but let's not forget the way billionaires work, the way governments work. They wait till you're the lowest of low. And at that stage, they can manipulate you the best. They can feed you a bit of, it's like giving you breadcrumbs for 14 years. And 1 year they give you caviar and you're over the moon about it, because you've been neglected for so long. So at the same time, we've got to be cautious. But at this stage, with him being the only interested party, Ek in all day, every day. Because right now it's Kroenke out.
I'm a bit fearful that maybe Ek was sat at home tonight in Sweden watching that game. I'm thinking to himself, well, actually, you know what? Maybe I'll stick to Spotify.
Nah.
Because, that was poor, wasn't it? For a semi-final performance, that was poor by Arsenal tonight. Somehow we're still in it.
Yeah, listen, I'd assume he was watching it, considering his invested interest in it now. But listen, this Europa League is a double-edged sword as well, Rob. And I'm going to say it here, that winning it might be at the detriment of us at long term, because winning it at this moment in time gives Kroenke the stronger hand. Maybe he looks at it like, listen, we have gone in the right direction. Forget the league for a sec. He barely cares about us. He probably doesn't know where we are in the league. He barely knows what colours we wear, etc. So for him, if we make Champions League football and that money comes in comparison to what's coming over the last 2 years, he probably looks at it like, okay, maybe I need to hold on to this. Now, I'm not saying I wanted us to lose today. If you saw me downstairs, I was as angry as anyone was, in the first 5 minutes to concede like that. But ask yourself a question, Rob. At the start of the season, if someone told you in a European semi-final, come the end of the season, Rob Holding will be captain, a failed centre-back will be your right-back, a failed centre-mid will be your left-back, a guy that just came out and said he prefers La Liga to the Premier League because he's soft mentally, plays. Ceballos made Foyth look like Xavi. Foyth just glided past him, played it out wide, Xhaka gets turned in. It's not all Xhaka's fault, he's playing out of position. He makes those mistakes in his actual position, let alone when he's playing out of position. But it's no surprise when you're in this position yet again. We're failing to sort the areas out we need to sort out quick enough. Hence why every year, towards the end of the season, we see madness like we're seeing today. And some of that, well, not some of that, a lot of that is on Arteta. Because how is he going to just experiment like that out of nowhere? We can barely do what you're trying to do, let alone pull that out of the bag. We're not Man City. A false 9 when this season's been our least creative season of probably all in the Premier League.
And I was saying that, it's not like none of those midfielders that are coming in have an abundance of goals. That's what I couldn't get.
Yeah.
It's not like, if Man United played a false 9 with Fernandes, you'd be like, well, this guy scores a lot of, he's had 20 goals. How many goals have our midfielders scored to be playing a false number 9? I didn't understand it.
Nah, I didn't get it either. Listen, at the end of the day, Laka was out, Ob was just coming back, but Martinelli's there.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, we'd understand that a lot more. Even if you played Martinelli and he didn't perform how we'd want him to, he's a young man. You know, he's been put in there out of nowhere and would understand. But today, I don't understand. That's the main thing. And something that pissed me off more than today, and that would take a lot, is Arteta coming out and saying if you knew the Kroenkes, you'd be surprised. Listen, I understand that's come from top down. I understand he's been told or asked to say that. You can see around where he was beating around the bush with it. But don't come and say that, Arteta, because that's puppetry at its finest. And bigger men have fell down being a puppet for Kroenke. Like I said, Arsene Wenger fell for the Kroenkes. Arteta doing that and being asked to do that is essentially the Kroenkes seeing them themselves in a situation where they're actually the prime target for once and want Arteta to look the fool. Come out and say that. You know, do that for us. He says it. We go and lose today 2-1. He looks a bigger fool than he did just saying it. And at the end of the day, I don't care who you are, Arteta, Edu, Vinay, they can all go with Kroenke. But all I will say is don't lose focus, because if a new owner comes in, everything we want, bottom up, will get sorted, ideally with an ambitious owner. Let's not lose focus. You know, Arteta's a madman for saying some of the things he said about the Kroenkes and being surprised. I can't forget that, because he speaks so well, so articulately. I've given him so much praise for the way he speaks over the last 18 months. I can't give him much praise for being 10th in the league, 11th, 9th, I don't know where we are. So when he comes out and says that, I'm going to be on the opposite side of the fence and say, listen, for a man that speaks so well, you know what you're saying is crazy. But you've put yourself in the firing line. Let's just hope people don't lose focus and scream Arteta out for the next 5 days. It's still Kroenke out. And when Kroenke goes, ideally, the whole thing falls.